Today we have two of my colleagues who are going to represent the product today. Ms. Ruhi and Mr. Jaydev is going to talk more about the webinar. Let me introduce myself. Myself, Neerav Darji. I am the project manager of Transfer Technology, and Transfer Technology have served so many different industries where our expertise are in asset management, spatial urban planning, spatial integration, waste and sanitation. More or less, we have also served pan-India small to medium municipal councils as well. Before we start our webinar, I just want to keep an attention and give you an instruction to all attendees that please mute your audio and turn off your video so that other attendees have a very smooth experience. And more or less, if any kind of questions, please let us know. Please let us know your questions in chat board. Post the completion of the webinar, we'll have almost 5 minutes of break where our moderator will take your questions and we will answer you. If there are any other question post webinar, you can also share your questions or suggestions on feedback@transserve.com. One of my employee will definitely get back to you. So starting with today's webinar, our key takeaways from today's webinar would be how to import vector and raster layers in our CityOS application, how to create a map session, the form creation where we are going to show building and premise form. Our team will also show you how to create users and the project assigning, where map session and surveyors are the very important part of the overall exercise. You will be in survey management where the project map session and survey will be integrated on the ULB and survey management, so that surveyor can get enough data on the mobile application. So enough data in terms of base map, survey forms, and other widgets as well. So today, the main reason for showing this application is to show our expertise in property tax survey. On the top of that, we are going to also show some data management and survey analytics, which is the actual part of the mobile data collection. So that mobile data collection will be captured in the next webinar, which is scheduled on 28th of August. We will also share the links and all the information very soon. So I'm going to hand over the webinar to one of my colleagues, Ms. Ruhi, and she will introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ruhi. I work as a full stack developer in Transserve Technologies. So today I'll be talking about property assessment module, which we have developed under CityOS application using Transserve Online Stack. So here I am logging in into our CityOS application. User statistics screen basically shows us the statistics of entire data that we have in the application. We can upload several layers on our application of type vector, raster, and data collection. These layers can be visualized using map sessions, and map sessions can in turn be published as WMS and WFS services. Whoever uses these services and hits our services, the count will be shown as a hit count for that particular month on the statistics screen. As we can see, I am subscribed to a beginner subscription plan, and currently it is an active plan. Now for any kind of survey, what we need is users. This application allows us to create users of two types. Surveyors are the users who will go into the field and collect data, and analysts are the users who are going to analyze the data which is collected by the surveyor. Analysts have two types of rights which can be enabled from here. If feature editing right is enabled for an analyst, then analyst can rectify the data collected by the surveyor by editing that data. And data approval rights, if this rights is enabled for an analyst, then analyst can approve the data if the data collected by surveyor is correct and can reject the data if the data is found to be faulty. You can upload bulk users using upload users functionality over here. Moving to data, we can have three different type of layers that we can create over here. First one is vector layer. These can be created using existing geospatial file available with you. This file should be of the format a shapefile, KML file, DXF file, or CSV. In case of last two, we also prompt user to enter the projection of the file so that the data is projected properly on the map. Second type of layer is also you can create a blank vector layer using create layer functionality. Layer can be of any type, point, polygon, or polyline, and n number of attributes can be added. Similarly, we can upload a raster layer, supported formats being TIFF file and ECW. Third type of layer that we have is field survey forms. These can be used by a surveyor in order to collect the data required for survey. This will be explained by my colleague Jaydev.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jaydev Naik, and I have been working as an Android developer for the last 2.5 years in Transurf Technologies. So I am here to show you all the form creation process. So in our CTOS application, we'll be requiring two kinds of data to collect, that is building data and premise data. To collect both this data, we'll be requiring two forms. One is a building form and the other is a premise form. So for our new attendees, let me show you how we can create forms. So after clicking on create new form, we can see this particular screen. As you can see, there is an edit box where we enter our form name. Then there is a selector over here to select the geometry type. So here the type we are supporting, the geometries are point, polygon, polyline, and multi-polygon. So depending upon your survey, you can select any of them. Then we have a list of widgets over here, as you can see, using which we'll be creating our form. So as you can see that there's a text widget, number widget, date, single choice, multiple choice, single image, multiple image. Along with that, we also have single image choice and multiple image choice. Then we have some media uploads, that is audio, document, signature, video. Then a few, then a calculate widget, time widget, rating widget, and also mobile number widget. And also we have a widget called as static text, which is nothing but a label that we can show in our entire form. So now let's create a building form. So I will go back. As you can see that I've already created a building form. So let me go inside it. As you can see that the form name I've given is building. Then I have chosen the geometry type as multi-polygon. I've chosen multi-polygon because what happens is there are areas where there are disconnected areas like huge complexes in which there are group of buildings. And to represent these buildings, we are using multi-polygon, because using multi-polygon, we can represent buildings as both polygons as well as multi-polygon. So then after this, as you can see on the right side, I have added 6 widgets already. So these widgets are the compulsory widgets, without which this form will be acting as a general data collection form. So these widgets need to be added. So I'll show you the first widget. So it is a text field called as building ID. It will be taking the building ID. Then we have a widget, that is number widget, which will take the lowest floor number. So considering my city in which I'll be doing a survey, consider that I know that in all the buildings, the lowest number of floor can range from -3 to 0. So considering that, I've given my minimum value as -3 and maximum value as 0. Then I'll say done. Then I have another widget that is for highest floor number. So similarly, for the lowest floor number, I've also given minimum value and maximum value, 0 and 6. This value can be anything depending upon your survey. Say done. Then I have one more widget, that is ULB ID. This will take the urban local body ID of that particular building. Then one more widget, that is a surveyor, which will take the surveyor details. Then this is the most important widget in this compulsory widgets, that is assessment status. So assessment status is nothing but a single choice widget. In this, I have added two options. One is pending and the other is done. So what will happen is when the surveyor will go on the field and he will collect data for building. So after finishing the collecting data or updating the data of a building, then he will move on to collect premises in it. So once he has collected data for all the premises, he will come to this form, that is in the data, building data, and he will select the option as done. So when the option is selected as done, what will happen is the color of the building will change. So that will inform the admin that the survey for this building has been done. By default, all the buildings will be in the pending state. So I'll say this as done. Now let's add more widgets to make this form as a proper survey form. So considering that my buildings are going to be created in a ward, so let's create a single choice widget, and I will name it as ward number. I will give the question code as WRD. This question code can be anything. Then I will be adding 4 options, because I know that in my city there are 4 wards. Let's say ward 1, ward 2, ward 3, and ward 4. Then I will say done. After this, I want to take the name of the building. For that, I'll be taking a text widget. I'll say building name. Then I will give the question code VNA. I will say done. Now that I have a ward number and building number, I also want the address of the building. For that also, I'll be taking a text widget. I will say building address. The question code will be AADD. I will say done. Now, before moving on to the next widget, let me show you a CSV file. You can see that I have already data with me. That is, I have data of 10 properties, as you can see under column property ID. And with respect to those columns, I have for each property, there is owner name and total built area and the total plot area. I want to utilize this data in my current form that I'm creating, that is the building form. I don't want that my surveyors to waste time in collecting this data, that is measuring the plot area or the built up area. So what I will do is I will use this particular CSV in my next widget. So my next widget will be single choice auto suggest. So for this, I will give a name called as property ID. Then I will give it a question code saying IID. And as you can see, we have 2 options here to upload the CSV. One is directly we can upload a CSV, or we can give it a link, that is where CSV is JSON file. So I will select CSV and I will say upload file. Now let me upload the file which I have. So now that I've uploaded my CSV, which I've just shown you, so now I will be selecting the field ID. This field ID can be anything. This is just for the reference. So I'll be selecting the column ID, that is my serialized ID. Then I'll be selecting the field value. For the field value, I will select property ID. So by selecting the field values property ID, what will happen is whenever the surveyor will fill this particular widget data, that time he will just have to enter the property ID. So when the surveyor will enter the property ID, accordingly, those particular data, that is owner name, the total built up area, and the total plot area will be automatically filled. So for that, I will say autofill. Now to autofill, I will require the next 3 widgets. For that, I will create my other widgets, that is the owner name, which is the text field. I'll give a question code saying OWN. I will say done. Then one more text widget, that is total built area. I will say question code as PBT. I'll say done. After that, one more text field, which will take the total plot area. Also a question code for this, that will be PAT. I'll say done. Now I will come back to my single choice auto suggest widget, and then I will select my autofill options. For that, I will say add new field and value, and I will select my first field, that is owner name. So this is nothing but our text field label. Now I will select my column from which I will fetch the data, that is owner name. So this owner name which is there on the right hand side is the header which is there in a CSV. So accordingly, I will add for other 2 widgets also. So I will say total built area, and the select field value will be total built area. Then one more widget, then I will select total plot area, and that particular column will be total plot area, and I'll say done. Now I have added, now I finished with the single choice auto suggest widget along with 3 text fields for autofill. Now let's say I want to find the age of the building. So to find the age of the building, I'll be requiring 2 things, that is in which year this particular building was constructed. For that, first I will take a number field and say year of construction. I'll give it a question code like YEA. Say done. Then to take the current year, again I will take a number widget. I will say current year. I'll give it a question code saying CUR. And before saying done, I'll be checking one of these options, that is default to last collected. By selecting this option, what will happen is whenever the surveyor will enter his first data in this field, this value will be copied to all of the other entries. This I am doing because I am doing this for the current year field, because I know that my survey will be happening this year only, that is 2020. So I don't want this data, that is the value, to change for all the other entries. So I will say done. So now that I have year of construction in the current year, let's calculate the age of the building using the calculate widget. So I'll add a calculate widget now. So I'll say age of building and I will give it a question code saying AGE. Now I will add the two fields. That is, the first is the current year, because the current year is always greater than the year of construction. Then the operator that will require is minus, because current year minus year of construction will give us the age of the building. And I will say done. Now say suppose I want to know what facilities are there in that particular building. So the facilities can be many and not one. So for that, I will be using a multiple image choice field. So instead of a multiple image choice field, I can also use multi-choice field. So in the difference between multiple image choice and multi-choice is that in multiple image choice, you can add extra images to the options. So I will add my first option. So before, let me add a question code over here. Let's say MIC. Add my first option. The first option will be solar panels. So I'll say I'll add an image. I'll say solar panels. And I will add one more option. Then I will say if that particular building has a lift. I'll select one image and I will say lift. And add one more option. Now I'll select whether that particular building has parking area. I'll select one of the image. I'll say parking. Then I will add one more option, that is power backup, that if that building has power backup facility. So I'll say, and I will say select the image and say power backup. Now that I've added 4 options, I'll say done. Now let's say I want to see if that particular building has proper sewerage connection. For that, I can either use a single choice, that is with options yes or no, or instead of that, I can use a Boolean choice. So I will use a Boolean choice. I will say sewerage connection. Since there are by default 2 options, yes or no, I don't have to add any options. I will give it a question code. So I will say SCV. And I will say done. Now, as you can see, I have covered almost all the widgets. So now let's add one more thing, that is a image. So I'm selecting a single image widget because I want a image of the building. So I will say building photo. Instead of using a single image widget, you can also use multiple image widget. So the difference is in this widget, that is single widget, you can add only one image, but in multiple image, you can add more images. And I will say done. So now I've added all my widgets. So now let's have a look through. The first widget that is there, that is building ID. Then we have lowest floor number, then highest floor number, then we have ULB ID, surveyor, assessment status. So the top 6 widgets which are there is very necessary when you are creating a building for in our CTOS application. So then we have added a few more widgets to make it a proper survey form. So now that we have finished the building form, let's click on save. So now let's see how we have created a premise form. So I'll say edit form. As you can see, I have given it a name called as premise, and I have selected the geometry type as point because I am interested in only a single location on the map. So after that, as you can see on the right hand side, that I have a list of widgets over here. Out of this, the top 6 widgets are there. That is building ID, premise ID, floor number, ULP ID, surveyor, and building DB ID. These are the widgets which are the compulsory widgets as we had in the building form. So this is a building ID widget, then a premise ID to collect the premise ID, then the floor number because we want to know on which floor this premise is. I'll say done. Then a ULP ID similar to the building form. Then I have a surveyor field to know the surveyor details. I'll say done. Then a building DB ID to capture the building DB ID. I'll say done. I want to make a note that out of the top 6 widgets which are there, the compulsory widgets, only the top 3 widgets will be visible to the surveyor on the mobile app. The rest 3 widgets, that is ULP ID, the surveyor, and the building DB ID won't be visible to the surveyor on the mobile app, and he did not fill it. Then as you can see, I've added few more widgets to make it as a proper survey form. So the first thing after the surveyor finished collecting or updating the building data, the first thing he will do is go to collect the premise data. So let's say, for example, he has finished updating or collecting the data for the building, and now he wants to collect the premise data. So he will enter the building, and the first thing he will see the premises. Where are the premises? And the first thing what he will see is if that particular premise door is open or not. So keeping that in mind, I have created a Boolean choice widget that is door open, and I've given and which has 2 options, that is yes or no. So depending upon this, it will be easier for the surveyor to fill the remaining part of the data form or to not fill. So as you can see, I have added an image, that is add image, using this option add image. So what will happen is when in the mobile app, when this particular widget will be displayed on the mobile app, along with the question, that is door open, he will be also be seeing an image, that is this image. So then I will say done. Then after this widget, that is door open, now after anyone opens the door, I want to know who that person is, that is the respondent. For that, I've created a text field. So I've given it name as respondent name. Now I have added as a condition for this field, that is I only want to show this particular field, that is the respondent name, only when the door is open. So I'll say done. Then after taking the name of the responder, I want to know whether that particular person is an owner of that particular premise or a tenant, that is he is renting that particular premise. So I've added again a single choice widget that is with the label as respondent status, and I have added 2 options. One is owner and the second is tenant. So also I've given a condition saying if the respondent name is answered, that means this particular widget, that is respondent status, will only be shown when the surveyor enters the respondent name. Then I will say done. Now that I have added 2 options for the respondent status, now I want to capture the owner's name and the tenant name depending upon the status. So I've created 2 text widgets and given the name as owner name and tenant name. First we'll see the owner name. So when the surveyor will select the respondent status as owner, then this particular field will be visible because I have added is a condition, that is if respondent status equals owner. So then I'll say done. In a similar way, I have did the same thing for the tenant field, that is this tenant name. So as you can see, I have added a condition saying respondent status equals tenant. And I will say done. Now after this, let's say I want the license number of that particular premise. So for this, I have taken a text field and given it a name as license number. And similarly, I have given it a condition, that is if the door is only open, because I don't want this widget to be displayed if the door is closed. So then I will say done. Now, since I have added a license number, I also want a document, that is if the premise owner or the tenant has a license document. For that, I have used one of my media widget, that is the document widget. So using this widget, I've created my license document widget. So for also this, I have added a condition saying if the license number is answered, then I will say done. Then say suppose I want the address proof of that particular premise. For that, I will say I will require a electricity bill. For this, I have used a single image widget, that is a single image upload file, and given the name as electricity bill. And similarly, I have also added a condition saying if the door is open, and I have said done. My final widget which is there, that is a signature widget, because I want to take the signature of the respondent. So I have added this widget, that is signature widget, and given it name as signature. And finally, I have added a condition saying if the respondent name is answered. So this particular field, that is signature, will be only shown when the surveyor enters the name of the respondent. And I will say done. Now that we have covered all the widgets, let's save this form. Now that we have created both the building form and the premise form, let's create a project and assign these two forms. So I will go here in the project section and I'll say add new project and give it a name saying survey project. After giving the name, you can also give a description, but I'm skipping this now. Now I'll be selecting the two forms which I've just created, that is the premise and the building. I'll say add to project. Now as you can see, there is an option to select a parent form. For this, we need not worry about this now because this won't be used in our CTOS application. So I will skip this. And also this also I will skip because I don't want any arrangement to my forms. I'll say save and proceed. Then I will assign this project, that is survey project, to my surveyor. So I'll say assign project and I will choose my surveyor and I'll say add surveyor. So now let's create this project. As you can see in the listing, that is I have a project called as survey project, which has two forms, and the user which will be using the form project will be the surveyor. So now that we have finished finishing the project, let's see how we can visualize this particular data in our map sessions.
Thank you, Jaydev. Now I will be showing you all how to visualize the data. So once you create a project, surveyors are assigned the forms. Now surveyors can log in our application and collect data for those forms. Once the data is collected, map sessions are used to visualize the data. I have created one CTOS map session here, and I have added several layers. Layers which you can add is vector files, raster files, and collected data files. Out of this, this collected data basically represents your forms, that is premise form and building form, which surveyor will be using to collect data. Vector files are the first section files that can be shape files or KML files that we have uploaded. Currently, I have selected AOI and word shapefile. You can also choose a background map. You can either have a blank session which will show a gray colored background, or OSM base map which will show OSM map in the background. Now, as we can see, we can hide or show particular layer. Here, this is the first layer, which is named AOI. AOI represents the area of interest. In our CTOS application, we have to have a city in order to do its survey. So this area for me represents the city or urban local body that as an admin I'm going to survey. Now, if this area is a large area, I will want this area to be divided into parts so that I will have team of surveyors which will go part by part to that area and complete the survey. So I have one layer, ward layer, which divides my area of interest into 4 parts. So I can create a team of surveyors, each having 2 surveyors, and assign those to each of those wards, and they can simultaneously go and collect data in respective wards. This will also help me to get my survey done quicker. Similarly, I have building form, which will collect data for building. Once the data is collected, it will be shown in a tabular form here. Similarly, premise form will collect premises inside each of the buildings. Once the data is collected, data will be visible here. Next step is our CityOS application. Now we can see a pop-up initialize property text module. Since the module is not yet initialized, it indicates us that we have to initialize this first. Now to initialize this, there is a setup that we have to complete. First, setup consists of 2 steps, ULB management and survey management. ULB management consists of basically, ULB management is where we decide which area you want to survey. So here we give ULB a name, a unique code, and select the area, that is area of interest, and the division of that area, and name that will uniquely identify that division. In my case, my area is divided into ward layer, and each of the ward will be identified by ward name. When I say submit, this ULB management step is complete, and you can move to survey management, wherein you will see list of wards. In my case, there were 4 wards that are created. Now you can have a team of surveyor assigned to this particular ward, which in turn can go and collect data for that ward. Now, the way you can assign the surveyors to the ward is by editing this. This screen will list down all the surveyors available in our system. Currently, I have created only 1 surveyor, so I will assign this to this ward. Now, this surveyor will be able to collect all the buildings and premises in Ward 1, but he will not be able to see any buildings in Ward 2. And if he tries to collect data in any other ward which is not assigned to that surveyor, then he will be given an error message. Next step is initialization of property assessment module. Now, before initializing property assessment module, we have to make sure that we have a project created. Project should have 2 forms, that is a form. It can have multiple forms, but it should have one multi-polygon form, which we will be used as building form, and premise form, which is going to be a point form. It should also have a map session, which is assigned to that project. Once the map session is assigned to the project, we can come to CityOS and select the project which we have created for this property assessment module. Then select the building form which have all the question codes which are necessary to collect one particular building's data. Select the premise form which has all the questions necessary to collect a premise data. Select a map session which has this building and premise layer added to it so that we can visualize the data on the map, and say submit. This will initialize our survey, and after this process, our surveyor can install our CityOS application on his mobile device and collect data for buildings and premises inside Ward 1. Now, if I have digitized buildings already available with me, and I want to help my surveyor by providing those buildings so that data collection basically consists of collecting geometry and after that answering these questions. So I want to make his job easier by giving him the geometry so that he can only answer the questions for each of the geometry. So what I can do is I can load already available buildings with me using load buildings. So what I have done is some of the buildings which already were digitized are uploaded in our TOS application as a vector layer. Each of this building has a field building ID. Now I want that all these buildings get loaded in my building form so that surveyor can only go and collect the buildings which are missing. Like for example, here the green colored building, which was not available when I had done this survey, and also add additional attributes to each of these buildings. So what I can do is, first, in order to copy the data which is available in this building layer from building layer to building form, I have to make sure that this attribute is present in building form. So I will go in my building form, edit it, and add a field building ID. And save. Then I can go to CTOS, go to property assessment and say load building. When I say load buildings, I can select the building layer from where I want to copy buildings from to building form. This will copy all the buildings to building form so that surveyor can directly collect data instead of geometry. Data management is used to visualize the data which is collected by the surveyor. Currently, surveyor has not collected any buildings, so we are able to see zero results here. As and when surveyor collects buildings, buildings will be listed down here, and we can select each building and go to premise table in order to see all the premises inside a building. Survey analytics screen gives us overall statistics of a survey, like total number of buildings collected so far, total number of premises collected so far, how many surveyors are enrolled in this survey, and how many surveyors are active on the current date. Also, collection status will be shown in the form of a pie chart here, color coded with the status of the survey. And also this table lists down list of active surveyors and current day's statistics, that is number of buildings collected today and number of premises collected today. These two tabs will be covered in more details in our next seminar.
Thank you very much, Ruhi. Thank you very much, Jaydev, for introducing the application. We are so glad that we have gotten kind of an explanation from the horse's mouth, because they are the developers. So we're so glad. Okay, so the next session will be on 28th of August at 6:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And my colleague, Mr. Rahul Velekar, will talk about the mobile application part. We have divided this whole application into two parts. The first part, which is covered today, where how to manage the project, how to take the building premise and building footprints to on a mobile application. Rahul will show you on 28th of August how to collect the data. Because when you are going into the field, there are so many of complication where you have to split the building, where you have to merge the building, or else some buildings been already digitized, but those buildings are in incorrect position or the geometry is wrong. So for that kind of queries, where our application is so apt that it can handle there and there on the field. So he's going to cover that part, how to update the data. On the top of that, Rahul will also explain how to approve the data where he's going to again come back to web application, which you have just seen now. So where how to approve, how to resurvey and reject application, reject the data, and the survey analytics, which just Ruhi has just left from that part. So there are so many other features from the mobile application point of view, which Rahul is going to take care of it. And we really want all the attendees to attend the next webinar. So there will be a complete cycle for you to understand the whole application, and it will give you a kind of a precise understanding of the application and how you can manage the revenue of any urban local body. So yes, we are open for the question. Please let us know if you have any questions. Please write it down in the chat box, or if you want to write it down in your in the email, please feel free to do it. You can write down to us for any feedback or suggestions on feedback@transurb.com. If any business related inquiries, please let us know at info@transurb.com. One of our employee will definitely get back to you.